Yeah, hi friends. As promised in my last prediction follow-up video, that I want to do another video on the next transit prediction. So this is what I am trying to do here. Uh, as I explained, this is a Sri Lankan chart in here that you have seen in the other video, both videos there. And then the prediction is, I'm going to do a summary first and then detail if anyone interested. Like here, this is a Sri Lankan independence systems approach chart. The peak for this one is going to be July 1, 2022. And like the earlier prediction that we made was to September 7th, 2021, which came through to the date, like this one here. The periods, as in astrology, the dasa periods are running. So this is what is running at the moment. Malefically influenced Mars, malefically influenced Venus, and most malefic planet Mercury. So this is negative period is running November 27th to January 25th, 23. So we are running basically like this is main period, this is sub period, and this is sub period. In Sinhala, this is called Mahadasa and Atrudasa and Vidasa. And then but we are running the most malefic period. So this main period provides the color of the period, and then this is where the action shows up, and this is a trigger. So that's how it works. So we are really running bad time here. That's why all this bad stuff is happening in Sri Lanka now. It's so sad to see that country is in so much in difficulties, and that's going to continue here. And then the next period that starts is again the Mars main period, Venus sub period, and then the Ketu sub period. And this is also quite negative period here. That goes from January 26th, when this one finished, goes up to February 19th. And then we start again the Mars, bad period here, and then a Sun period. Sun is generally, it's weak, but it is not, it's not going to do much better. So this here is starting from February 20th to June 28th. Because I'm going to go up to July, so the next period going to be Mars and the Moon period. Again, this weak planet. So this is not going to be good either. So the prediction is that, like the prediction I made for the earlier one, like I'm using the average numbers to make this chart. So, but it is not going to be like this. It's going to be like this, like little up and down like that. So, but the peak period will be right here to here to here, like that. So we are going to go all the way up to July 1st, because this transit that affecting us is Ketu aspecting Venus. Ketu is a afflicting malefic planet to us, and Ketu is always a malefic planet to any chart, well, you and me also. And then the Venus is our Lagna Lord, but it's afflicted by Venus. So this is a trigger, this is a natal trigger. That's why we call it natal trigger, is what we brought to this life. In case of Sri Lanka, this is a natal trigger for Sri Lanka. And this is again happening now from basically start from February, and then it goes the peak period. We are going to feel it here so tightly. So that's the period that we are going to run here, Ketu aspect Venus. So this is the because the Ketu started to influence Venus again in this period here, from beginning from February, and then goes to the peak in July 1st. but we're going to feel it. We already have really bad time running, so all these troubles are going to continue same way, and it's going to be more. So my areas are concerned at the moment is for this time is mainly public health, and then law and order. uh, is going to increase poverty so much because what is happening in Sri Lanka right now with food and all. That's the living cost of living is so high, and poor people can't afford what things to buy. And then the poor governance going to be there, and the political situation and stability is going to be a lot of turmoil on these areas here. And uh, and then we are going to have a increased authority used by the government. So that's going to be having that, because right now it looks like government is not there, or they like what is happening now is really really bad, that we don't see any direct decisions taken. That's kind of situations, but it is going to change, and government going to be much stricter on people. So that's going to happen from February. So now, what the most important thing in astrology is that what can we do about this? Because this is collective karma of Sri Lanka people, like population of Sri Lanka. So this is the collective karma that is, fructifying. That's exactly what happens. What can we do? This is what's the remedies, what we need to do as any Sri Lankan. First we have to make an honest living. That is absolutely minimum. Never steal anyone, never steal government funds or anyone's funds. That is an extremely bad thing that people are doing, because they will have to pay again and again, coming back and paying again and again. So that's never ends for them. So first thing we need to do is make an honest living, because that has to be done. If you're not doing that, if you're not living a disciplined life, then nothing else matters really, because you're creating bad karma for yourself. Now the second one we can do for Ketu, because Ketu is afflicting, punishing planet for us. We need to help the less fortunate people, because right now there are a lot of people who can't afford to buy food, and so much in difficulty. If you can afford to buy at least a kilo of rice or whatever that you can do, you can please help, because your guardian angel or your spirit guide will show you the opportunities to help. But never say I don't have anything to help, because it's not enough for me. That's not the case. If you give, you will receive in much higher quantities and values. So that's a very normal thing. So please help poor people. I mean, when you say poor, is less fortunate, because poor people are much better qualities they have than most rich people who have ill-gotten gains. But in here, this case, we are calling about the less fortunate in terms of money, right? And then the third one anybody can do would be to help a child in need for his or her education. Anyone do this, will help us to get rid of the Mercury, big malefic influences from Mercury, which is happening to us. That's how many of our some areas of Sri Lankan life is really affecting because of this transit, this particular affliction here. So for that, best thing to do would be to help someone. If you can help a child to get education, or even if you don't have money to help somebody, if you know something, you can teach that person what you know. And let's say you're somebody who knows about computer science, you can teach a child what computer science is all about, or provide guidance in terms of it's called career guidance, in terms of where the child can do, what options they have. Because it's not much career guidance I see that in Sri Lanka. So what we need is people who have achieved can guide the young people how to achieve, what areas are available and what needs to be done. if my teacher never taught me about chartered accountants, I never would have known it. So that's the reason. So it is very important. If you have money to help, please help and guide a child, and it will do world of good for you. So this is what it's saying, so that's the most important thing. So again, the recapture this is basically, our bad time going to continue, and you're going to see a peak again in July 1st. So that's going to continue. And then now, if you're not interested in learning more detail about this, you can go out of this place here. But if you are interested in learning a little bit more, someone who is learning this, which that's my really objective, teach this valuable science to others, so they can learn it and make predictions by themselves. And also it will help their own lives, because anyone who understands this will live a very clean life. Because you can see fructification of karma all the time, because it's to the date is right. It's going to be to the minute it is right. It's just to learn it is the important thing. Now I'm going to go to the details. This is what I have done here. Actually, I started preparing for this from November 28. So I'm only considering Ketu, because I'm considering the two malefic planets, the Ketu here and the Mercury here. So actually what I did was I moved the data from the movement of the degrees from these two planets from this date forward, and I put it down here. So we can see that the Ketu is moving from 733, 732 to 732, 733, 734. It's pretty much stationary. So when a planets are stationary, particularly Ketu is stationary, bad time is not that good. Particularly when a big influence is made to another planet. So you can see that's why I put this change here. Change is pretty much 0, 1, but it generally goes much faster than that. It goes like 5 here, like that is the right, this is the correct usual time that it goes, like a 5 degrees a day, 0.5 degrees a day. 0.05, sorry. Yeah, so that's what it is, that done that way. But whenever I slow down less than that, like this 1, 0, like that, then this is really trouble time for anyone. Even if you're a personal chart, you will see bad things are happening if you have a sensitive point in an area where it gets slowed down. And then this is a change of this Ketu here, and then this is the Mercury. Mercury is a fast-moving planet. It moves like, every month pretty much one sign. Like we started with Scorpio here, or Vrishika, and then it goes to Sagittarius, which is Dhanu, like that. So I actually started, particularly Mercury brings us the bad news most of the time, and some things happens and we hear news because the Mercury is in charge of communications. So since I was doing this, I looked at to see what was going on this date, December 2nd. I don't know whether you heard this, like, I'm sure this was in the news as well. Entire directors of BOI resigns. And also China moves away from big solar projects. Fairly large solar projects from north of the island. And they went to Maldives, I think. So this is the bad news that came on that day. So what I did was I put it in red, where I expect we're going to hear some negative news or something negative happens. So as I indicated earlier, like we are running Mars, Venus, Mercury. Mars is malefically influenced, Venus is malefically influenced, and Mercury is most malefic planet. And it's called negative period. And this is main period, this is sub period, and this is sub period. We call it Mahadasa, Atrudasa, and Avidasa here, right? So Now we are on 13th here. Today is 13th. So we're going to go from here. Now we're going to see another transit here of Mercury on 16. This is affecting the MEP here, most effective point of the chart. That's it's called most effective point of the chart. So that's where it touches here. In other words, this one here, this is the most effective point of a chart, which common to all the houses. So that's the one here. Now you're going to, if you really watch these days, you will see some bad news hearing. Now this should have been a very nice, if we are running a good period, we would have gotten good news here, you know, some positive things happens to us, but you're going to hear something about this here, because this is Saturn is a one big benefic planet to Sri Lanka, and it's coming to the 4th house. So we might hear something about, you know, finding something in ground, something, you know, like something about something good for Sri Lanka happens, but it's not going to be significant because we are running a bad time. When you're running bad times, good transits don't fructify as much as it should be. But this is a similar like, you know, Saturn transit is what the war was closed on. The war ended up in a Saturn transit. Saturn is a benefic, very benefic planet to Sri Lanka. Now we are going here. You can see I put a like try to get the other major planets like Jupiter and Saturn. That's why I said other transits here. So like here, Jupiter conjunct Mercury 97, I expect that to be negative day. And then this is again a most effective point for Mercury. So that's going to be negative, and then this one is, then Jupiter aspect Mars 96, that is going to be a negative day. A negative, like this is after 99, this is started going down, but then this is going to be a negative day, because this is kind of a slightly positive date here. So that's happens like that. And then over here on January 26, we are going to begin the Mars Venus Ketu period, because we were running Mars Venus Mercury period. So Mars Venus Ketu period begins here, which is malefically influenced Mars. Venus is malefically influenced, and Ketu is a afflicting malefic planet. Basically, is punishing planet. Ketu is always punishing to all of our charts, but when it is afflicting, it is more vicious. But Ketu is a very good planet for moksha, you know, like it teaches you what life is all about, and it teaches you can go without many things. He always removes the weight from you, so you can travel light in this life. So that's all he's trying to do. When you see your material possessions are gone, that's his job. But then he's telling you can do without that. So that's what exactly what Ketu is for. He's a moksha planet. And then right here, we are going to start the Mars Sun Dasa, which is, you know, this is a very small period. So I didn't want to put this is really main period and sub period. I didn't want to use a sub period because they are very short. Because it ends in quickly. It's then Mars. So since it's, you will see in the lower down. So this here, when that period starts, this is where the main transit that I was talking about, the Ketu aspects Venus begin. This is 0 here. This is a 0 point. And then I was telling you that if you listen to the other videos, you would have seen that I was explaining the last 5 degrees is where the transit effects are seen. Transits are basically because when we were born, it's a picture of the planet's location that we have, but then the planets keep moving. And when planets keep moving, we call them transits. So whenever our birth chart is static, but then after that, that planet, a minute later it is moving. So then it goes back to the original positions or goes over another planet, we call it a transit. Or as, influences it, then we call it a transit. So basically when the planets are moving around and then they come to the original positions or influence the birth chart positions, that's what's called transit. And then it basically starts to influence Venus. This is a 0 point here on February 19th. And then this is the 20%. This is 0%. This is 20% on March 2nd. But in this here, like again, you see a Mercury transit here. And then this here, also a negative transit here. You're going to have some negative communication. So this could be not very good day over here. And this is not a very good day either. And then here, you're going to see another bad day here. And then March 12th, March 11th, they're not very good days. And particularly this day especially, that's another one. And then here, here, not a good day here, because there are two negatives there. So here you have two negatives, here you have two negatives, here you have two negatives and a one negative, like that. But when this day comes, March 18th, Ketu planet moves to Libra, or we call it Tula, because the Ketu was going in Scorpio or Vrishchika till this date, because they go like 18 months in a one sign. So he's going to go into the house of Libra, the sign of Libra. Now you can see Ketu was all the way here, 137, 126. This is quite fast here, like 114, 12, 114, 12, 53, like that. So basically, like this area, Ketu was moving very fast. When a planet particularly Ketu moves fast and you have a sensitive point here, you don't feel much. You will be lucky. But if this is not moving fast and is slow there, then you're going to see real problems happening in life. So that's what happens. Now here is slow down. Like you can see 0, it's not moving. It's just a 1 degree moving. Actually, it's going backward. And then, like that. So this is where it moves to a new house, a new sign. And then after that, you can see, when I see here Saturn aspect Saturn, this is what I mean, Saturn aspect Saturn, this is called Saturn aspect Ketu. This is what is called Mercury conjunct Venus. Aspect means, it's looking at it from whatever angle it is that we discussed in the very first video. And then the Mercury conjunct means Mercury going into the original birth position of the Venus. So that's what it means. So conjunct means it going and meeting the birth chart position. Or aspect means it is aspecting the birth chart position. So this is 97. These numbers come from 5 degrees, because we are saying the 5 degrees is what influences, what you see results in a situation. But these are like the last degree here. This is the last degree here. You can see it starting in 80 and then going up to 97 for this particular transit, Saturn aspect Saturn. Generally this supposed to be around here is a good time, but since we are running bad periods, it's not going to be. There should be some good news, some positive here, but unfortunately those positives are not very great. But you're going to see some positive here because these are positive transits here. And then this becomes one rule we need to learn about is whenever there's is life like this, one day good, the other day is not good. Like here, there may be few days good, and then this day not good. When it breaks, it's not good. So that's what really happens. That is a rule that we need to learn. If you do your own chart and start following yourself, you will see that, that when the transits are positive, and then when it immediately become negative side, like immediately go over the 99, then that day was negative date. So it's this one also here negative, this one is negative, and then by this time we are 60% of our main transit that I was talking about, the July 1st, that we are looking at the bad time. That's we are 60% here, and that's 14 days. 14 days from, like what I'm doing here is that this is 12 days for the Ketu to move, for 0 to 20, and then 20 to 30 it's moving 13 days, and then 40 to 60 it's moving 14 days. So in other words, this is little slow here, right? And then now we know this is going to be a bad news day here, and then that's a negative day because it's breaking down here, and then these are negative and these are negative because Mercury conjunct Rahu. So these are negative days here. But important thing to realize is that if you look at from 60 to 80, 60 here, you can see it from 40% to 60%, which is a 1 degree here, 1 degree. The Ketu is moving 1 degree, took 14 days. But then here, Ketu to move 1 degree again, it is taking 66 days. This is not very good. So this is tough because the planet is pretty much stationary here. These Ketu degrees are, planet is not doing anything to us personally. It says this is just a tool for us to understand our own life. So if somebody says, even though I use the word planet is not doing to us anything whatsoever. This is Ketu, you are not even a planet. Ketu is, I explained it in the first video, so you can see that none of the planets are hurting us. This is a tool that is given to us by the divine for us to figure out what is happening in our own lives, so we can be more contented and understanding of life. So that's the whole idea here. So no planet is hurting anybody at all. It is to do with this system that provided us. This is much higher level for you to understand. When you learn this, eventually you will realize that it's not the planet who is doing it. Everything is done by your own karma. It's basically this astrology is to understand when the karma fructifies, when the karma becomes ripe, and to punish or to receive, because karma works both ways. If you have good karma, you will receive, and then you will be happier person, and then if it's a bad karma, it hurts. So that's natural. Now here is another negative day. Like here what we are saying is that Ketu aspect Venus 79, that's where it starts to, now this is the highest point that we are talking about in this chart right here, from this degree to that degree. Like this is a 1 degree that we are moving. You can see it's 28.14 to a 27.48. So that is a 1 degree. So that's to 2720, which takes 28 days. These are tough time for us. You will see that Sri Lanka is going through a hard time. We need to understand what is happening. We can criticize the government, we can criticize others. They are, people steal so much, and because they don't understand how life works. So that's why they are doing that. And if you can, refrain from that, understanding what karma is all about, that is what's going to help. So these good days are going to be tough. You will see that. So that is where we come to the July 1st date. This is where the 100% comes. So which is this date here. So this is the tough time for us. It's going to be a tough time all the way through here, but it is going to be worse in here. Because, people needs to be more spiritual. When I say spiritual, doesn't mean, you need to go to temple or church or whatever. It's nothing to do with that. It's to do with understanding of life and help others, because that's all we are here for. We need to help others. And if you help others, it definitely your own guardian angel will begin to help you and then begin to see you. We call spirit guide. I'm going to do a video on spirit guide because I get so much help from my own spirit guide. That's again is no magic or whatsoever. It's a part of life, but people don't recognize it because we are always being watched. But we don't recognize that spirit guide. And then since I was doing this, I just went up to over here. Since I had this data here, like this date is negative, this date is negative, because this is a negative 80 now, because this come down to this way, and this here is negative 60. I wish best for Sri Lanka. I'm so sad to see what is happening. If you can help somebody, please help, because people are in so much in need. I do my best to help others wherever possible. I'm not a rich person either, so whatever way I can help, I do help. So I wish that if you can. I know not many people come across these videos because it's not meant to be for many people. It's only meant to be for people who can who are blessed to at least learn there is something like this behind the scene that we make so much noise about. You will see so much videos blaming government or this. We have to understand government is what we deserve our karma. When you see these things happening in Sri Lanka, it's so sad to see people. The gas things are blown up, and being our president is from United States, and he knows the product recall is completely normal in United States and it's done very, very quickly. And these people are not even taking no action whatsoever because they are pretty much disabled with these kind of periods. They are lost as to what to do. So that's what is happening. Once you learn astrology, you will realize that there are no smart people or highly educated people. There are blessed people and not so blessed people. That's all. That's exactly what happens. There are no smart people who take all the right decisions all the time. So that's not going to happen. But if we are spiritually understanding what life is all about, then it will help. Okay, so I'm hoping, the first part that I said, if we can help a poor, when I say poor means a less fortunate person in terms of money, buy them some food if I can, because that will teach a child what give him money, like buy him books, send him to the school. Those things will do so much good, and next life will be so better for you. Then you will have enough good karma to come back and design your life in such a way that is much better circumstances for you. So because the most important thing as a human being is that our ability to do good karma. And if you are blessed with money and means, please help others, because that's the best advice I can ever give you, because that will help you to collect more karma dollars for the next lives and next lives to come. Okay, I think I said all that is enough. Going to end the video here. If you have questions, you probably can write it down. I'll try to answer if possible. I'm just basically, I want my son to learn this. I'm begging him to learn it. I know he will eventually learn this because, if I'm after 2 kidney transplants, so I don't know how much more time I have. You know, my donor just died 3 days ago, my first donor. You know, I mean, he just passed, but he has so much good karma that he has done by giving me a kidney, and I live 7 years with his kidney. You know, and I know that he's in exactly right good place, so he's doing quite fine. You know, so if we can help others either any way possible, please do. Thank you.